build my gallows and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance. Hello everybody, welcome to Longbangers. I'm Matty.
I'm Colin. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Happy Easter to you, Colin.
Yeah, you too, aye.
Is that
how you say it, folk?
I can.
I've never said that. I think I've ever said that to anybody.
You get Easter cards on that now, eh? And it's no for me. Jane gives out Easter cards, but we never did. When I was wee, never had Easter cards on that.
Tell her it never arrived, mate.
Aye, plenty of chocolate, but never get the cards. It's funny, right? See, if we'd recorded this about an hour ago, I was still fucking raging after that game. Eh? Do you know, sometimes it happens with football where a game will affect you for ages, and then I think it's been on that group chat, like a group chat with the guys that did some funny stuff in there. Obviously, Nielsen's been sacked at Hearts. There are some messages going about now suggesting that Johnson might have been sacked as well. But I've not seen anything to verify that, so I'll keep an eye on Twitter as we go. But as we start recording this, B. Johnson's still in post, and there's nothing there to say that he's been sacked. So we're working on the basis that he's in position. So slight change to the Longbangers schedule. So if you don't follow us on Twitter, you might not have seen some of the changes that we announced through last week. Longbangers now, we're slightly varying the schedule for subscribers. So subscribers will get Longbangers tonight, and tomorrow night they'll get Extra Time, which is the subscriber exclusive. And tonight we're going to be talking about the reasons behind Hibs' streaky performances, and also kind of touching on the project that Lee Johnson referred to in January, which was having the young players through and on the bench. Colin, you touched on it last week, didn't you? When you pointed out that there were no young players on the bench last week, and none again today. So we'll cover those in Extra Time. If you're a subscriber, you'll get that on Monday night, and Monday night is when this episode of Longbangers will go out free to air. You can now subscribe just to Longbangers. If you don't want the Short Bangers content or the Heat Bangers content, you can subscribe just to Longbangers for £2 a month. That's at the link on our Twitter bio. If you want to head there, you can sign up too. And also, we're just going to bring the match discussion into this podcast as well, rather than having a separate episode talking about the game. So let's start with the game then, Colin. Starting lineup, a few changes again for Lee Johnson. He's had the team selection tombola. Yeah. What did you make of the starting lineup?
I was a wee. I didn't know Hanlon was injured. So I wasn't expecting that when I saw it. I hadn't read anything, but then I've not read much this week, so I wasn't aware he was injured and out. And then when I started looking at it, I thought, playing somebody in position rather than playing somebody in position and keeping somebody else in position.
Aye.
To fit Egan Riley into centre half, which, as we'll get on to, isn't clearly his position, I would say. I don't know what his position is, but it's not fucking centre half based on that. And then you're leaving two young laddies then in the centre of defence, weakening the team, rather than having an experienced centre half into the team, which is presumably why we signed the fucking boy, Devlin.
Yeah.
It was a bit, apart from that, and then McCurdy, obviously, which I'm a bit like, fuck, I'm hoping the laddie does something. I'm not wanting to be on the case, like where, like you see it. You see it on Twitter, you see it in various places, that it's almost that people willing him to be shite.
They've made up their mind on him.
Before he is.
Yeah.
But then he goes and does it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and it just backs that up. So, but I don't want to be one of the ones that are sort of willing him to be shite, like there are. Like it's happening with him, man. Like it's happening with Jago and all that as well. It's like we're getting into that. Not blame culture, but they would try to pin it on certain people, and it's not just they two. You know what I mean? It's another game where you're struggling to get anybody over half pass marks again.
Aye. We started off. I think before we go into the match, I think in terms of starting lineup, I can understand why he's made changes, because we were awful last week, and nobody that dropped out could have really complained about it. But I just have like a I don't think he knows what he's doing for the team, and I don't think the team know what they're doing, and it shows in the performance. They looked like they were thrown together again today.
Yeah.
But then we started brightly, like good chance for Nisbet.
McCurdy started brightly.
Mm-hmm.
McCurdy started brightly, I thought, on the right hand side. He seemed to have a bit of space down there. Whether Dundee United thought, fuck him, just leave that, right? I don't know what it was, but he actually started bright and he put that ball in that Nisbet should have scored with.
Aye. And then not quite right, going right up the park, but not kicking arse off it. But a few minutes later, it's a simple ball into the box, and no defended at all. Egan Riley loses Fletcher, and Fletcher.
Jabaya didn't cover. Egan Riley didn't have a clue where he was. Fletcher standing on his Todd. You know what I mean? It's actually standing on his Todd. He did move. He was moving about. But it's like basic schoolboy stuff.
Mm-hmm. And Fletcher's he's a good header of the ball. You know, he's always had that about him in his game. You can't really afford to give him that amount of space in the box in that time.
Ever since he scored that one with his shoulder against Hearts, man.
I find that quality. That was it Dennis Rosa that put in the ball for that one? Mind of him.
I remember the name.
I think that was about the only thing he did. He was a decent player, but I think that was like Alan O'Brien. I think actually. I think Rosa. I think Rosa
because
played
that was the game where he put
O'Brien.
A cross in, and folk would say stick with him because he put that cross in against Hearts.
Mind that he was shiny, Alan O'Brien. I mean, if you want, sorry for bringing back bad memories for people there. We could go for Fletcher anyway. So, we go 1-0 behind, and then we just huff and fucking puff for the rest of that half. Really, second half, again. Really struggled to break Dundee United down. Nothing really happening.
But do you know what? This comes back to this shitey away performance. Miss a chance, let them score, and huff and puff for the rest of the game.
Yep.
And this time the difference was we got fucking back in the game by scoring a goal. Good goal, or well taken goal. But then we fucking still go and blow it. You know what I mean? It's like. We've seen this before with these away games. Like we just go over shite, and then we go. It frustrates the fuck out of me. Really does. Oh man, it's like I was moaning at my wife earlier on there. She was asking about it because she's like a 40 years of watching this, and it's like beating down, and I says that frustrates me, right? The attitude the Hibs fans, right? We were all saying yesterday with the tongue in cheek, saying fucking results have all went your way, we'll blow at them on, right?
Aye.
But it's like, and I didn't want this to sound like I'm blaming the fans, right? I'm no blaming the fans, but we accept it. We go fucking, we'll blow at them on, and we do. And what do? We just go, oh well, we'll make some jokes about it. And I'm not saying we could have done anything different about it, but this is fucking 10 different sets of managers, 15, 20 different sets of players and teams.
Aye.
And it's the same, and we accept it and we allow it to happen. If there was a player of the year the other night, we would all be fucking arms round them, getting selfies and patting them cunts on the back. And they didn't. We should be fucking hounding these cunts. Like, you hear it, Rangers and Celtic, they didn't accept it. They didn't accept the defeat, never mind 2, 3, 4 in a row, right? We do. It's like, well, kind of win every week. Oh well, it's another big game of fucked. Oh well, it's another good chance we've just fucking let slip through our fingers, and we just allow it. We just let it happen. And I'm not saying we could have done anything. We weren't playing, but our attitude must make the players think that's all right. Don't worry about it. They'll be all right tomorrow.
You think?
Invite them down to East Mains. Invite them out to Easter Road. We'll do a fucking meet and greet. They'll all be all right.
Aye, I have to say, like I'm definitely getting sick of it. I think like the day. Last week I was fucked off, right, because we were shite, and you can go, sometimes a team will be shite, right? There's loads of good teams throughout history that have had a shite game.
Yeah. We're
not a good team. We had a shite game last week, and I think the day, when you're looking for a reaction, last week was a must-win for us, right? We're talking about wanting to get third, and then you lose it and you think, well, let's make sure we're top 6, which is the next fucking goal. Today was a must-win for top 6 because we've got 2 hard games still to go, and other teams around us are picking up points. Like St Mirren won yesterday, and Motherwell are in good form. Like I don't know if Motherwell can catch us, right? But and Livingston are still in the mix, although they're in terrible form. So you can't take anything for granted, right? Our Derby record's fucking atrocious. So you're playing the bottom team. Somebody said on the radio, I think this is the last clean sheet that Dundee United had was against Stirling Uni back in fucking January or something, which gives you an idea of how bad they are. They're bottom of the league, and you're expecting a reaction, and it doesn't come. But it's not the first time it's not come for this group of players,
right.
Or for the manager,
or the previous groups of players, though.
Aye,
it's not just it's through the club, and it's been through the club for years. And that's what I'm saying. I've said to my wife, I was like, but I can't blame us for it, but like we're the constant, and we keep allowing it. Like we keep allowing it to happen, and I don't know what we could do differently, right? I don't know what we could do differently, and it's like it's just accepted now. It's just accept. We'll lose the morning doubt because it wasn't. There was loads of folks said that yesterday. On Twitter, in the group chat, me and you.
Yeah, we were joking about it, weren't we?
Right. So, and we don't just accept it. We predict it.
Mm-hmm.
That's how bad it is. We know it's going to happen. And it happens, and then we go, oh, well, we'll have a wee run on the podcast a little bit.
Aye, no, you're spot on. You're spot on. I think that's why I was so annoyed. And then you listen to, and I'm not going to go down the David Brent route, right? Listen to Lee Johnson after the game, and he's talking about like backline penetrations or something like this, and they pull out stats and all the rest of it, and they go, I'm fucking sick of hearing it. I'm sick of hearing about how we're good on this stat or good on that stat, or how our XG's decent or whatever. Fucking start winning games. Like, that's all we're bothered about. I'm not interested in the fucking stats behind it. I'm sick of it, like that, trying to pull the wool over our eyes and say, like, oh, that was a good performance, apart from the things a couple of naive mistakes for the young laddies at the back.
But talking about, correct, that was a deflection. I haven't even listened to him. I haven't even listened to any after match, right? Because, well, Sky just bumped straight onto the Leeds game anyway, and I went out. I've came back and the Arsenal game was on, so I've not heard any. I've not read any of what he said, but I was expecting deflection. Chat about director of football again, maybe chat about the young laddies again, or whatever. Like to take your mind away from the pressing point, which is this fucking team can't be motivated. Like teams that have gone before them over the last fucking 20 years, 30 years, 40 years.
It's not good enough. Going back to the game, so we lost it to a penalty. Any complaints about the pen?
Nah. Stupid. Fucking stupid.
I thought it was soft. Fletcher played for it. He said as much after the game. He says, I can't forget a touch, it was a penalty. That's what he said.
Yeah,
like, I knew if I get across them, it's a penalty.
Bender knows that as well.
I didn't think Fish has actually made that much contact with him, but you did get given. Like, if it had gone our way, we'd have been shouting for it, and if we'd got it, you'd be going, that's a fucking penalty, right? Thought it was soft, but they get given. And it just...
I'm amazed that anybody's even thinking it's soft. I thought it was absolutely still. What's it like? Oh, for fuck's sake. Like,
there's an angle from behind them, and you see how little contact there is for Fish on him.
I've seen that since, but watching it live, I went, fucking penalty.
Same here at the time.
He's clearly won the ball and just looked and I thought, you're about to film me, you daft cunt. You know, that was kind of the... Mm-hmm. That was kind of the move, eh? It was bad. It's fucking mental. I'm absolutely total inexperience against experience here.
And it's like you said, you've got Lee Johnson coming out in the interview after saying it's naivety for two young centre halves. You know, they're both. You get that with young players. You didn't have to play two young players. Lee, you signed an experienced player. You just shoot ourselves in the foot. And then he says 2 cup finals coming up. We just played 2 cup finals. Like, last week was a cup final for us. This week was a cup final.
Our record was qualified for the cup final because we fucking blew the quarter final and the semi final the last 2 weeks.
Aye, our cup final record is fucking shitely. We didn't want to have games that are cup finals. Can we just fucking win the run of the mill games, please? Fucking honestly, I'm so fucking sick of it. And even things like
hit the bar. Miston is it hitting the bar.
His free kick, that was brilliant free kick to him. I mean, I can't remember. I think it was maybe Miko following up as well. Just couldn't quite direct the. You reckon? If you look at where he's run, he's anticipated the ball going in a different direction. Yeah. He's had to throw himself at it. So,
possibly.
I didn't think he really could have done much about it. But we just huffed and puffed. We just looked like we're totally devoid of ideas, and there's too many players in that team that are just fucking bang average at best. Bang average too often.
Mm-hmm. And they've not even been that the last 2 weeks, like we've said. I mean, they're less than 5 out of 10. Everybody on that pitch. 2 weeks in a row.
Right, well, we're going. There's tons of talking points to get through. We've not got tons of time, so we're just going to get fired straight into them, Colin. Bass 72 said, no leaders amongst the players. Hasn't been for a while. We need at least 5 strong characters starting every game to make a difference. I think looking at the team today, we would all have been surprised if we got 3 points.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if we got 3 points. I expected 3 points, even with that team. But I agree, you need 4 or 5 strong. I mean, everybody should be able to be a leader in their own way, especially if you're a professional footballer. But we do need leaders. But I don't know, they're not. If we have got leaders and we've got a leadership group or whatever we have, they're not doing the job. And I'm not advocating bawling and shouting. That's not what I think. But taking a grip of a game or whatever. We've got guys that can pass a ball. Everything's so slow, including the defenders and even Marshall's distributions went to fuck. Obviously, Jegos are getting hammered, but he's not. You've got Fish must have kicked it 4 or 5 times. Just I wouldn't say aimlessly. I don't know if it's aimlessly. I think he's aiming somewhere. It's not going where he's aiming it. It's like fucking hell, man. I'm not saying it's leadership that's a problem. It's just basic football ability.
It's definitely the thing about grabbing a game by the scruff of the neck that we've talked about. I mean, you imagine
big moments. Nisbet hitting the bar. Now, if Nisbet scores, that's maybe you could say that's him showing the way because it's I don't know, is it? I don't know.
Well, nah. See, I mean, I thought Nisbet was pathetic today. Really, I mean, apart from the miss at the start, there was as the game's dying out and we're chasing it. He's running across the box for like one of these lost cause ones.
Yeah.
And he throws himself down in the box. It's never a fucking penalty. You're just like,
I know.
Fuck him.
I said at the time though, it's worth getting the VAR to have a wee look because the boy grabbed him, and you never know what these fuckers will do.
Well, I suppose the Kovac test, I suppose.
The
but
defender was silly enough to touch him. Gave the referee decision for that.
Aye, but I just infuriated. It's just fucking cheating, Just fucking grow up.
But it's the rules now.
Well,
the head knock rule. Look at the boy fucking going down because he was facing the wrong way when somebody cleared the ball 20 yards away from him. I hit him on the back of the shoulder.
Aye.
And he's doing the head.
When we break him. So. Aye. Alan Rogers said the manager is a charlatan. As for McCurdy, no idea what anyone sees in him. So McCurdy got absolutely slaughtered on Twitter. Mikey Stewart, I don't know if you heard him on the radio after I tuned in. We went out in the car after. And Mikey Stewart was slaughtering him. Just fucking him. Apart from his haircut and his socks down at his ankles, gives you absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Shouldn't have been on the park as long as he was. Done nothing for Hibs.
Haircut and the socks at the ankle adds much either, Mikey, to be honest. But I'm not bothered about the haircut and the socks or the bandage. It's more like what is he producing? I thought he started the game well and then just done what I seen Ewan and that said before the game he'll run inside, cut inside, he'll lose the ball, he'll just get that foul away. And then he goes and fucking does it.
Exactly that. Reece Smith 91 said depressing. These 2 games are absolutely massive for us and we've not turned up in any of them. And the last 2 were cup finals. Spot on.
Aye, but what do we say there? Is that not typical Hibs? And that's your acceptance of that. Aye, typical Hibs. We'll do it again next year.
Aye.
Stop worrying about it. We'll just get fucking used to
it. Bestie to Beastie to Belgium. So didn't hear LJ take any personal responsibility for today. He says we're technically better than last week. Better team in the first half. What utter pish. How can he pick Cadden and McCurdy again down the same side after what we saw last week? Zero understanding between them. No character in that team. Sick of saying that. No blood and thunder. Fight for every ball types at all. And we sign a centre half on a short-term deal. Then play CJ at centre half. Hung the poor guy out to dry. Not his position. Fletcher outwitted us twice.
Almost what I said. I hadn't read that. I hadn't seen that. That's Colin, that was on that.
Yeah.
But no, I totally agree. Totally agree with that. I can't almost said it word for word myself earlier on.
And Lex Loafer came in on the back of that and said he talks so much shite it's hard to begin where to slag him off. Heard his interview today on the way home from the game and he waffled a lot of nonsense. Technically better at what? We couldn't pass the ball 5 yards at times.
Yeah, there's a stat came up during the second half. 0 shots on target. 68% possession or something.
Aye.
0 shots on target. 0 shots off target. What stats do we want to look at? Do we want to look at other ones? Because I think they're quite important. I mean, the final results the most important one. The league table is also important. Shots on target, shots off target. So shots on target would certainly be on my fucking list.
Aye. I mean, I can't mind their keeper making a save. Do you know what you say about that with the bar? I can't mind the keeper. The Nisbet's one hit the keeper, didn't it, when it went out at the start?
Aye, straight on. Right, you couldn't no say that.
Steve McKenzie said he should be sacked before next week. Hearts not accepting poor results. We just sit back and accept the garbage that Lee Johnson puts out there. We've got the Mad Hibby said Hibernian FC sack Lee immediately, does not fit the club ambition off and on the field. Get him gone. Where do you stand on that, Colin? Do you think it's time up for Lee?
It can't be a kick ass off it. I seen a tweet earlier.
Well, we'll come on to that one
listed
with the charge sheet.
If you got it,
we'll come on to it. Yeah.
Aye, that one when we come on to it, then that doesn't make. I don't know what you would use to counter that. If you're Lee Johnson's defence lawyer, what is it you're using? What are you bringing out? XG.
So it was Liam Young who copied us into this one, along with a couple of other Hibs accounts out there. So knocked out in the League Cup group stages, which, by the way, he's lucky he was a brand new manager at the club at that time, because that was a fucking disgrace.
And he might have got away with it because of the admin error, which wasn't his error either.
Aye, but we're already
we were still going out anyway.
Aye. Yeah. Knocked out in the first round of the Scottish Cup, and he probably got away with that one because of the fact that it was a derby, and that's a win or lose one. You're no cert for it. Back-to-back 3-0 derby defeats. 1 point out of 9 against the bottom of the table. 1 point and 22 goals conceded against the Old Firm. Beating off every team in the league. Bottom 6 pending. Time to go. That's for Liam Young.
Was there a mention in there about Dundee United, bottom of the league? Did they say
1 point out of 9 against the bottom of the league?
Yeah. Well, that's the equaliser.
Aye, that was it. That was Nisbet. Nisbet kind of dug us out that game. We were shite. Dundee United were much better than us that game.
That's right. I don't know what you then use to counter that. I don't know. I'm one that would normally wait and say, oh, okay, I sat the manager, even when it was Jack Ross and even Maloney to an extent.
Yeah.
I can't see what you use there to try and, like, if you're on one of the message boards and you're in a debate about it, I mean, you used to get the big game chat chucked at you, and you had to win all the other games, and and all that. I don't know what I could argue. I don't know how I could play devil's advocate to keep him.
No, it's a struggle, and I think it's fair to say we tend to give the players and manager, to be fair, the benefit of the doubt.
I do. Always too long normally.
Aye, for as long as we can, and I think it's always evidence based. Is that we try not to jump to an early conclusion on things. You try to kind of build up a body of evidence to kind of go right. Well, that's an opinion. You can form an opinion early and be prepared to change it as the evidence changes. For Lee Johnson now, the evidence is pretty damning against him, and I don't see where it's going to improve. Because do you see us winning next weekend?
No. That is Tom-in-law messaged us both in another group chat we in earlier, saying, and he was probably saying it tongue in cheek, but he's probably fucking right. They know they win next week, and they didn't want Nielsen to get the credit for the win because then they couldn't sack him.
Aye,
that's where it is. Like, they've went, we're not sacking him because we need to keep him because we'll beat them next week.
Is it we're kind of joking, but saying about Nielsen getting sacked without having won at Easter Road, still in a derby, and there's a very good chance that Lee Johnson will go the same way with the same record, which is fucking shambles. Gordon said, it's unreal how bad our team are just now. Today's performance was unacceptable, but Livy away was superb. I can't get my head around it. So that's kind of flagging the inconsistency there, because Livy away was brilliant. Like, we were really good that day. Why is it, Colin, you think, that we are so either good or completely shite?
We're never just all right, eh?
No.
Why? I don't know. The players' mentality? Don't know. Must be a mentality thing. Like, good players, like properly motivated players would turn up every week, and they might not play well, but they would, you would see something for them, a bit of fight, a bit of spark, something. But we're just seeing boys moaning all the time. Like, look at Nisbet, look at Who's the other one? You got another message in the group chat earlier on, a different group chat earlier on. We're in various group chats here. And it said, I'll tell you now who it was. McCurdy. McCurdy moaning about everything. See, but Nisbet's doing the same. It's just like they're moaning, arms up, fucking moaning, falling down, fucking trying to claim stuff. And it's like get on with it. Take a bit of fucking responsibility. And that's maybe the leadership thing coming back in there, but it's like, take a bit of fucking responsibility. Stop moaning and try to blame somebody else all the time.
I think that's a great thing. See, when you're in a team, you need to realise that you're part of that fucking team. So if the team's not playing well, you're part of that team that's not playing well. There's no point blaming every other cunt that's on the fucking park.
What are you doing differently?
Yeah, right, aye. Do your part. Don't be moaning at everybody else.
It's individual battles and all that. That's the chat that I think it was a different sport, but the chat used to be beat your opposite number. And if everybody's better than their opposite number, we'll fucking beat them.
Aye.
And it doesn't even need to be everybody, like all 15 or all 11. It's like fucking the majorities are doing that. He'll probably win.
Aye, that's it.
And we just didn't. Time after time.
Right, Lex Loafer, one more. How come Devlin is not playing? Egan Riley at centre half was a joke today. If Hanlon is out to get Mikey in, I bet his first start will be next week, which is mental. And actually, I wouldn't be amazed if Hanlon's still injured if Devlin does come in next week. But again, that for me just shows. Go back to like the Tombola with the team selection for Lee Johnson. If he thinks that his best option, if Hamlin's not there, is to put CJ and Fish together, and he trusts it the next game week. You can't go, I'll try it once and then go, oh fuck, well, that's it, back to the drawing board, which he does every fucking time we get beat. Back to the drawing board, something completely fucking new next time.
Aye, totally.
Lex Loafer again, got a few for Lex. I'm just kind of working back for the most recent, down to the oldest ones. He says, imagine being O'Connor and seeing Jair and McCurdy getting picked ahead of you. Must be demoralising. So we're going to cover that in extra time, Colin. I'm going to talk about the young boys and the project, etc. Jair came on for 5 minutes, contrived to miscontrol a ball that went out for a throw. And
I thought he was looking into space and going on a big fucking run, and I thought, he's not making that. Fucking hell.
No. And that was the throw in that they scored from, wasn't it? Throw in that led to the penalty?
I think it was.
Or was it after it?
Kicking off. Nah, I think it was about then. I think it was before it, mate, but I don't know. Well, I'll be fact checked on that one.
Just, grim. And despite the recent shite, this is Lex Loafer again, despite the recent shite, I would still stick with LJ. Next season up to Christmas is when he'll be judged. Sticks in my throat today saying that, but it's what I do. My gut feeling is Hibs won't blink with it, and he will start next season in charge. I think that's what I think will happen.
It does feel like that, like after the last time we were going to sack him in the last streak.
And it's funny because I think after we had that last streak and then we went on the run one, I think we were kind of quite happy to say sticking with him was probably the right decision. It looked like that decision had paid off.
Yep. Mate, I can't believe we're talking about maybe not making the top six.
It's crazy.
I think we will, right? Because I think everybody else is that good. Although Motherwell, if they win their next 2 games, I don't know who they've got, and we lose their next 2, they jump us. I don't think Livingston will, even though they're closer to us right now.
Yeah.
And that's fucking mad. And as much as I don't want to be in the bottom 6, this is going to sound mental as well after my rant about acceptance and accepting mediocrity or whatever it was, right? I think we'll be in Europe because we're going to get at best. If we get in the top 6, right, then we'll be pushing for 5th place, right? And then we'll be like, oh, we've got a European place, right? We're challenging for Europe, right? Like, the 5th one, the shite one, the one that nobody gives a fuck about, the one that you get knocked out of before you go on your summer holiday, right? And it just then gives you more excuses for no doing well in the League Cup because you had to start early because you've got to prepare for Europe and all that fucking crap, right? And I'd rather not be in Europe at this stage because we're not going to do fuck all in it. Like, just fucking finish the season, man. Now, like,
just
nothing.
It feels
just drained me.
It does feel like a season that's just petering out, with even a whimper.
No.
Gordon said the praise that Yuan gets from folk is astonishing. One good month he's had. Get rid ASAP.
He was hopeless today.
Aye, I mean they were slaughtering him on the radio tape. Mikey Stewart was hammering him, and then Richard Gordon, I think, piped in. But they sort of said he scored 5 goals in 5 games, and then he's not done anything since. But we've played Rangers and Celtic, and then he was suspended. And I reckon really what they're expecting from him.
He did nothing today, and he did nothing in the games. So he got part of getting sent off. So you could see where you could come to that conclusion from. In the day, there was at one point he had the ball in the box, and I thought there was so much space on the outside, and he chose not to try to go inside. And he tripped over the ball, and you're like,
fell over his own feet.
Everybody kens you need to knock that out to the left and just go like your pace. You know, fuck, frustrating player. But he's been good on his day. It's just day isn't happening often enough, like we've said before about other players.
Aye, and I think we said, well, there was folks saying sign him now. Do you know when he was in his hot streak?
Well, I'm glad I said hang fire like if we can. Why do it?
You did say that. To be fair, Vince Robinson said, bizarre setup. I'm tired of waiting for that McCurdy genius. He hasn't got it. El Sacchio 2 next week for LJ.
Aye, well, sorry, they've already jumped the gun. Vince, so it's El Sacchio 2 for LJ, but no for RN.
I can. I don't know if Johnson would survive another derby defeat, especially if it's a Badgin at home.
I think the fans would go mad at that, because that's the one that gets everybody. That's the one that does get everybody. But I think we need to start not accepting fucking Dundee United away, Livingston's away results and performances. Not the recent Livingston, earlier season Livingston. St Mirren away, you know, all these ones where we go and just fucking whimper to a shitey loss.
Paul Cockwell says, when you record in just now, can't wait, so pissed off today, haven't beat any Old Firm or Hearts, beat my bottom team. If we'd won today, then beat them at home, we'd be above them. We should have came out fighting like this was a final. That last part of that is spot on. I think that's why I was fucked off. You're going, imagine the boost we'd have got going into Derby if we were going fucking 2 points behind them and they're shite. Aye, we can go ahead of them, and the pressure it would have put on them. Right. And the lift it would have given us, all that about it, and we go and fucking do that. The Old Firm bit, I'm not bothered about us not beating Old Firm, and I'll go on record now. Unless things change drastically in the Scottish game, those games are a write off for me. Aye, if we do anything in them, it's a freak result. But I listened to Sports Sound podcast through the week and the messages about it. Their spend. I underestimated how much they spend. 50 to 60 million each on wages. That's before you've taken any fucking transfer fees into it. 50 to 60 million on wages. We're not going to beat them, right? That's an entirely different fucking league. That's like maybe 7.
That's like, what would that be in the
times?
Premier League? You look at the English Premier League, take the English League, right? Because we always like to do that comparison. That would be like the equivalent, and not a monetary equivalent, but a League 2 team beating a fucking Premier League team in the FA Cup. That's what that is. And that doesn't happen every time, does it?
No, it can happen. Yeah, you can point to examples where there's a freak result.
Injuries, they put the reserves out, the weather's shite, you know, I mean, lucky fucking penalty or something. It doesn't, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen more than once a season. It's not going to happen fucking more than once every couple of seasons.
Aye. Chris Robinson says they're cup finals for his job, which is probably fair dues. William Turner, I can't even be arsed speaking about them. I'm that pissed off.
I'm close to that point as well. To be honest, I'm totally fucking sick yet. I've not renewed my season ticket yet, like for other reasons, not because of this, not because of how shite it's been, just because of other commitments that are likely to get in the way. In the summer, I was waiting to get an estimate of that over the next few weeks actually to see, but I'm not in a hurry. I really am not bothered, because it's the same. I was going to say roller coaster. It's not even the same roller coaster. It's the same fucking downhill slope.
It's like
going every year. It's
like a shite roller coaster that takes you ages to climb up to the fucking top of it. When you get to the top of it, you think this is going to be shite going down, and then it is shite going down, and you regret being on the fucking roller coaster in the first place. Yeah. But then you get to the bottom, you still go, I'll have another go. Aye, it is fucking grim. I came up, I was thinking today, I took the dog out a walk, and I came home, so I watched the game, listened to the radio a wee bit, came in and took the dug out a walk. Thought I'll try and calm down a wee bit because I was still fucking fizzing about it. Put some music on rather than listening to football chat. And I'm like, Kev, what, we spend all this money. Like, the club spend all this money. Lee Johnson wasn't a cheap appointment.
Yeah.
Maloney wasn't a cheap appointment. Jack Ross wasn't cheap. Like, we've no gone for the cheap options in these appointments. We've no cut corners on the spend on the squad, from what I can gather. When are we going to fucking see it on the pitch? Like, I'm sick of fucking seeing like, oh, like you read about the quality of the backroom team. The Maloney brought in, kind of, we've got this guy, this fitness coach that was fucking great. They brought in Caldwell, and who was the other one that came in with him? You know, like,
Maloney brought a team in,
and then Jamie McAllister. The chat there was he could have been a manager in his own right. Okay, that's how good he is. When are we going to fucking see it? When are we going to see all this talent that we've got?
Yeah.
The training centre, and I don't want to fucking just be, because I get struck in all the time, don't I? The kind of shiny training centre and that. When are we going to fucking see just a good team on the pitch, just consistently fucking good, that all that stuff works for us? Fucking annoying. Anyway, can't remember why I started ranting about that, but season tickets and going again. It's just fucking boring. It's boring being shite. Stop being shite, Hibs.
I'm in no hurry to renew. Like, they can fucking phone me and try and emotionally blackmail me as much as they want, but I'm in no fucking rush. No rush.
Do you want them to phone your landline?
I do that. Give me text
it. Hans said probably the reason why the young lads aren't signing contracts when that's the standard getting ahead of them. Again, like I said, we'll talk about the young lads a wee bit in extra time when we record that for the subscribers.
They must be sitting in their wee group chat and going, "Fuck me, yeah." Like,
what do we need to do?
They must be confident, right? They're confident. Look at Laddie McIntyre. They got a couple of sniffs, and I know we're going about Laidlaw and O'Connor all the time because they're the kind of famous ones because of the strikers and that.
Yeah.
But Laddie McIntyre looked closer than either of them to the first team in my eyes. Although I'd say Kenny was a bit off the pace and Stevenson covered for him that time and all that, but he got up to speed quickly. He looks like he's not scared of a challenge. A couple of times he's played, he's looked apart. And now we're just chopping and changing Chabraya and Stevenson. Like, they can't quite decide which one it is. And like, as much as like Stevenson's like a club legend in that, we need the laddie in. Like, and I'm the one for saying get the laddie in, but Chabraya's not good enough, right?
Aye.
So just get the laddie in and then get Stevenson help him out, like come off the bench for him instead of fucking playing Chabraya for whatever reason it is.
Aye, and I think by the sound of it, I don't think Stevenson's going to get offered another contract anyway. I mean, Johnson was in the press. They asked him about it, and he says, "I need to speak to that. It's no fair for me to talk about it until I've spoken to Stevenson." Well, that to me is saying, "Aye, he's not going to get offered it, but I need to tell him he's not getting offered it before I tell you." Aye, give the young boys a chance. Lex Lofer said it's a lack of effort and urgency that kills me. The least we expect is 100% commitment on the pitch. Sadly, lacking balls all over the pitch.
Yeah. Aye. The commentator said a line today, slow and laborious or something, he said. And that was exactly the conversation I was having in the house at the time. It's just, this is fucking shit.
Aye. It was
missing obvious passes. Now, I know I was watching on the telly, I wasn't at the game, but I'm sure it would have been saying similar at the game. Although I think sometimes in the telly you get a bit of view, eh? There was a couple of times you're going, I'm watching it going, fucking pass. Like, Cadden had a chance to play McCurdy in. I think Fish had a chance he could have played Yuan down the left hand side. And it's obvious that's a pass. It's obvious that's where the space is.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't do it. And then they eventually get back there and pass it that way. By that time, they've covered over.
Aye.
And you're like, what the fuck? And McFadden then, like, so I'm pleased because I think McFadden's one of the better co-commentators not in the telly. Mm-hmm. He backed up what I was thinking or shouting at the telly. So I thought, well, that's good then, because that's somebody actually can't how to fucking create stuff that's saying that. So at least I'm maybe on the right part. But why can they not see that? Because it, and I say it every week, right? But I watch my daughter on a Saturday. If she was making the passes, I'd be saying to her, why did you not make that fucking
Aye.
Because it's so obvious. It's not like a hidden pass that you're going, oh, I didn't see that one. He's right there in space, in the box. And why are you passing it? So, and it's just so slow. And I think Jago gets a lot of the blame for it. he's by no means the only one, and he's by no means the only one that can't pass the ball. As much as we want to try and blame it on one person, it's fucking terrible.
I think it's like a lack of bravery on the ball. It's folk that didn't want to take a risk or make a mistake, and they look to the simple thing. But you can't do that at this level. You need to be fucking trying to make something happen.
And you do when it's four. Like they were lined up. It wasn't even 2 banks of four. It was a 4-5, and then Fletcher on his toilet points. Because you could see it on the telly. It was clear. Like you see the two lines, 4 and a 5, and you're like, we've got to break this. We've got to break down the mechanic. Like we just, and they did that. You need speed. You need fucking passes to drag somebody to position and then capitalise on the space. It was just fucking knocking about in front of them.
Aye, fucking horrendous. George Stewart said, we need a manager who can sort out the defence first of all. What the fuck did they do in training? Bin the whole management team, including David Gray. So I would have to say, like, obviously, like David Gray's position at the club is sort of, club legend. But there shouldn't be anybody at the club whose job is safe for.
No, I'd like David to go and get a job as a manager somewhere else. So would they have to sack him?
Aye, and then come back and succeed at Hibs.
Go win a couple of games at Cowdenbeath and we can demand he's back.
Aye.
Yeah, buddy, I'm back. Get him in, sack the manager.
Well, be Marvin Bartley just got the manager of the month, didn't he, last month? So
he'll be next on the list then.
Could be the next one for us. David Loudon said, gutless bunch, jobbers. Yep. Charlie McGrew thinks he made that up. Said, last one, I actually thought McCurdy looked okay today. Managed 1 or 2 good link-ups, couple of good crosses into the box, and was at least trying to get into space, but was let down with some poor not quick enough deliveries. And Tom Willis sort of said, certainly the better game is played, take that any way you want.
I agree with both of that, actually.
On Tom Willis, he also said the Hibs opponents must know if they can survive the first 10 minutes without conceding, they've got a great chance of getting a positive result.
Yeah. Aye. It's just the standard away game, isn't it? It's just the usual. It's
not even the away games, it's the home games too, isn't it? Like, what is it about? Do you think it's us because we live it with Hibs? That we think that's what everybody thinks about our team. And if we were St Mirren fans or Motherwell fans or Hearts fans or whatever, we'd be saying the same thing. Like, every team kens if they get a goal against us, we'll come back for it. And, with the exception of Celtic and Rangers, who do come back for it all the time. But
I don't think so. I think some of them do. I mean, there's the usual one, right? So I've heard Hearts fans saying it. You know, when we get the so we play St Johnstone, I think, at home, away. Sorry, at home. They're at home in a couple of weeks' time. And they've not won at home since November, so it's like, we're going there to get on the points, you know. And I've heard Hearts fans saying similar stuff like that when they lost to Motherwell earlier in the year.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, but we definitely get the boy band week fold, get an early goal, and they'll not come back for it. Clamp them, shut them up, you know, and then their fans will go on their back, sort of style stuff. And the players are only big enough to stand up to it. We've had that for years, and I don't think. We're probably not the only team, but then we just keep allowing it to happen.
Aye. Charlie McGrew thinks he made up. Says update of non-Saturday at 3 PM games, lost 9 and drawn 2 with aggregate score of 27-8. What time do we play Hearts at again next weekend? So it is a lunchtime kick-off next weekend, isn't it?
12:30, isn't it?
12:30, right. So 27-8, lost 9 and drawn 2. Do we just need to insist on getting 3 PM Saturday games in? Is that our against 10 men? Is that our winning formula?
That's the thing, yeah. You know what? Like we've ridiculed that this season, but how many games have we actually won that haven't been against 10 men?
Aye, it's crazy. And he also said, I need to watch the highlights back on Sports Scene to confirm how badly the ref performed. I was level with the box, didn't look like a pen, and it looked like we missed a Stonewall pen from a handball in the first half. That and him stopping at least 3 Hibs quick breaks and inconsistent bookings. His bookings were inconsistent. Like they could have had a couple of yellow cards before we invariably got the first one. The Hibs bookings, I think, were bookings. I didn't really have any complaints about them. He just wished that he booked everybody for yellow card offences.
In that 20-minute fucking line in the sand being made before he gets the cards out.
Aye.
I think it was a penalty, the handball. Nisbet and that seemed convinced at the time. Nisbet and Newell, maybe, they were like, Nisbet had the hands out for about fucking 10 minutes after it.
And presumably it was checked.
I didn't think, it would have been checked, but I didn't think it was. Like, the one replay I think I saw on Sky, I think it was
I
think it was a handball.
But we've not had anything for referees since we complained. We talked about that last week.
Yeah.
It's funny. We should write to them. That's what Rangers are doing, writing because they had a decision against them.
Just ask if we can sign your letter.
We can throw his.
It helps.
Gordon said charlatans, a lot of them. And if I hear anyone say Campbell was good enough for Hibs again, I'm done. If an Italian team are in for him, take the money. Nowhere near good enough. Right. So Campbell, we've said he's had a pretty good season, like a really good season. To be fair, massive improvement on last season.
Yeah.
And we've talked about him being Player of the Year potentially. But is that reflective of a bad season? Like, or are we doing Campbell a disservice there? What do you think?
I think he's still well. Player of the Year, isn't he? Player of the Year is based on who your best player is, right? Dundee United will have a Player of the Year this year.
Aye.
Right.
Yeah.
And they will be relegated. So Kilmarnock will have a Player of the Year.
Are you mansplaining here?
Aye. So
what Player of the Year is it's like the best player for this year.
But so what are we saying then? Like, we shouldn't be getting them. It has been your best player.
Aye.
But we're almost saying, well, we can't get Player of the Year because Hibs have been shite. That's what that tweet is, isn't it?
No, he's just he's not even saying, he never mentioned the Player of the Year. He just said he was good enough.
Oh,
but I was saying
apologies to the tweet.
And I was saying he's probably been our Player of the Year. And then I was saying, but if you take the two opinions there, are you saying if he's our Player of the Year, does that tell you how bad a season that we've had? But then is that unfair on Josh Campbell, which is the
it's unfair on him because he's still been our best player. But I also accept the point that we would like to have more competition for it, but we've no.
Aye. So. Tom Wallace said, I agree Newell was our best player, but Joe needs to stop giving away daft free kicks. I didn't think Newell was good today at all. I thought he looked no bad when he came on against Motherwell last season, but I just didn't think he looked at it today.
Yeah.
JPG White mentioned about the core of the team are players at the end of the loan period. Again, you're looking at having to sort of shuffle the pack for next season. That's both our centre halves that played today are likely not to be at the club next season. Hans, just got in the last couple now, I think. Hans said Lewis Miller thrown in at Parkhead has a decent game, not been seen since. If deemed good enough to play against the best team in the league away from home, is not against team, but not against teams lower in the table. And another pointless signing of Devlin, can't get a game with Hanlon being out. Lewis Miller must be kind of scratching his head, is wondering how he's getting a game.
Aye, must be. But as you say, like you said that you made a point earlier, and I can't remember who it was you were talking about. I think it was probably the two centre halves actually. And you said then you wouldn't be surprised if Devlin started next week. But if he thought the two were available, the best bet of the day, then they weren't good. But do you just fucking discard it and start again next week? Or do you say, right, you've got a week behind you to work together to get used to each other, and you go left, you go right, fucking whatever it is to do at the back, right? All that stuff, work as a partnership and learn, or do you just scrap it again? But that's what I done with Miller. As you say, chucked him in against Celtic, done all right. Like, I think he done okay. I don't think he was brilliant, but he done okay. And he's been binned.
It's like if you take your order of selection, because you pick always, you would think makes sense with him. Best two first, right? Two centre halves. If that one's not available, we'll go to number 3.
Yeah.
If number 3 is not available, then you have to go to number 4. But you're progressively going down in quality. Excuse me. So if we're saying the day that Devlin's below Egan Riley and Fish in the pecking order, then it doesn't make any sense to put him in next week because he's not going to get better than them in the space of 7 days.
And it also begs the question: did we need to sign him then? Like, what are we paying him? Because, like, if we're just going to play people at position instead of playing someone in the position because they're better than them, and that might be the case. You know, you might say, well, our third choice centre half is a midfielder, but he is still the third best centre back. That's fair enough, right? But if that's the case, why did we bring another centre half in?
Aye, what
You
is
see,
the
well,
point?
we've got cover. They're just in different positions.
Aye.
You know?
Aye, it's just baffling, isn't it? And then, right, so last one, because we're almost out of time for the night. Karen Hannum says 3 managers, 100 players, and 4 seasons, and still the same shit. What needs to change? Are we just employing shite managers? And who would be your next manager?
Oh, fuck knows, mate. No idea. No idea. But I agree with the point. Like, I mean, it's mediocrity, isn't it? Like to coin a phrase, but it is, and it has been for fucking decades. We keep allowing it to happen. We appoint a new manager. We expect something to change. Maybe it's the club, the whole club, that needs to change. Like we had that episode in Extra Time about the derbies. Maybe there's one about the whole fucking mentality of the club having to change.
Just
rather
everything.
Than, like, root and branch, is that the phrase?
Aye, it is.
Rather than just change the manager again and hope that he brings a few more fucking loan deals in the day of turn.
Aye.
Because that's what's happening, eh?
Yeah. And maybe that's the football's role then, isn't it? To come in and go and say that this is how we stop it.
And we'll need to get an update on that soon, right? Because they'll be feeling heat again. So they'll need to talk about that again, because that's all they're fucking quite needs talking about that, because we won 3 or 4 games in a row and didn't get hammered with Celtic.
Okay, very quickly then, just looking ahead to next weekend, assuming things stay the same at Hibs, how's it going to go? Winning, drawing, getting pumped? What do you reckon?
They'll be us. Like, if they, they'll come and say we'll get them put at the top 6, because they'll be motivated for it, and we'll know.
Aye, and and I think that's
nothing's changed. Something needs to change. That episode we done in February about the derby, that was specifically about the derby. But I'm now thinking it's the whole club that's a fucking problem here. But the derby attitude hasn't changed, or won't have changed in that period, because they've done fuck all about it. They always think there's nothing wrong with it. So I would, even if Nielsen had been in charge next week, I would have still been expecting us to get beat.
And for me, this group of players at Hibs has done nothing really to show that you can trust them to turn it around. Because we've gone on big fucking losing streaks. It's what happened last time.
Tell them it's not a big game and it doesn't matter, and then maybe they might be able to turn up.
Aye. Our best opportunity is if by some fucking freak of luck, the team selection tombola just happens to kind of stumble on a winning formula for us. But other than that, I have zero confidence for it, which is shite. It's gonna be a long week, I think, Colin.
Aye, and they're gone shite, so that's like guaranteed. That's typical Hibs, isn't it? Like, oh well, you're having a bad run, boys. Well, it's all right. You're here next.
We're up next. Help yourselves. Right. Sorry if you are more depressed now at the end of this podcast than you were coming on. I feel.
Thanks for saying that. Was it me you're talking to when you said that?
Well, to the listeners, really, if everybody's listened this far in.
I can't even feeling this bad, like this negative. Like, I just feel I can't be sounding really negative, but it's like fucking hell.
Oh, I did
the same old fucking beatings over and over and over. And it's like it's stand up for us a wee bit.
The sheer inevitability of it, and how predictable it was. Like, we were joking about it yesterday, and you're only really putting those jokes out because you've taken the piss at everybody all day, and you're going, it's your turn to on. I'll just preempt it and go, fucking look, we Ken, we're going to be shite, so don't bother. We already Ken. It's no fun if you say it.
Brutal.
And here we are. Brutal. It's just fucking annoying. And fuck off, Hibs. That was kind of my overriding emotion the day. Was just fucking sick it. Absolutely sick it. Anyway, right, thank you for listening. Thank you for everybody who sent in talking points. We didn't get time to get through all of them, but I think we covered the gist of them all. As I said at the start, if you're a subscriber, you'll get on Monday night Extra Time, where we're going to talk about Streaky Lee and the reasons behind our runs of bad performances, and we'll also look at the project, in inverted commas, that Lee had talked about in January, which was getting the young players into the team, which seems to have just been dropped altogether over the last couple of weeks. If you want to subscribe, if you want to hear that content, go to our Twitter and click on the wee link in the bio. You can sign up. You can either get all the Longbangers content, which is Longbangers and Shortbangers, at £3 a month, or Longbangers on its own, which is only the Hibs content, at £2. Thanks very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I
drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.